Welcome back to this listenable book club styled coverage of Anna Clark's Tears of a Dragon Awakening. Today we'll be covering Chapter 3, When Two Villages Collide. On this reading, I find that I really dislike that bear. If I were in Orin's shoes, I might have attacked it as soon as it showed up, thinking that I could present its corpse to the village, especially after a multiple years long hunt. Then again, much like it disappeared on the first encounter, its corpse could easily disappear again if I had won that battle. Who knows how magic bears work? If I were in Orin's place, I would definitely not have gotten so familiar with the bear as quickly as he seemingly had. But I'm also not a kid anymore, and thus nowhere near as quick to forgive past transgressions or obey new authority figures. It probably helps in the way of forgiveness that the person who was murdered by the bear was someone everybody seemed to hate. And now Orin has an excuse to leave the people who hate him behind, and maybe start a real life for himself. The short throwback to the prologue makes me wonder what it'll be like if they're supposed to meet directly. I'm starting to imagine the vengeful being as being so large that Orin having to dig deep into her to find her kindness might be a literal meaning, such as having to take a shovel to a giant's body, maybe even having to be reassured that it won't hurt them at all because you're so small in comparison. Like the body of the Bionis in Xenoblade, who is pretty much as big as a planet, so big that it has entire ecosystems of humans, monsters, and other sentient creatures living on and inside of it. I have to flinch a little at the thought of drinking pond water. But then again, in this fantasy world where drinking wild, unpasteurized waters you find is a normal thing, it must taste delicious, and finding a new pond or spring or lake to drink from must be a fantasy world's equivalent of discovering a new flavor of soda, or a new soda fountain in our world. Orin hunts down a Slaith for his meal. Slaiths are meat-eating creatures, and metal-eating creatures, and cannibals. I can't imagine that they would make a good meal for a human, but I guess that when you're hunting, you're not going to be able to get fried chicken or perfectly done rare steak whenever you want. You get whatever you can get. I was a little shocked to see the bear pouring cold water over Orin later on, before realizing that the area around them wasn't cold anymore. They had emerged from their frozen forest into a suddenly hot region, which, alleviated the thought that Orin would immediately catch hypothermia from the cold water. This was not a gradual change of environment, too. There are hard borders between cold places and hot places in this world, and there's a lake that demonstrates this. I'm sure I'm missing something here, but the bear beating up Orin while bringing Cyrus back to consciousness made no sense to me. Was pain part of the process? It just seemed like a random act of violence there. The chapter closes as they prepare to protect Cyrus's village from a fiery disaster. We'll have to see how that goes next time.